Okay, so we have this interesting question here under modular arithmetic. This involves solving equations in a particular mode. So this is mode 11. We have to solve this equation in mode 11. So you just solve the equation normal way, collect like terms. So you have 5x equals d plus 2 becomes minus 2. That's 3 minus 2. Then you now have 5x equals 1. And of course, the next thing you do here is to divide both sides by 5. But if you divide both sides by 5, here's what you're going to get. So let me do that in another paper so you get why you cannot divide both sides by 5 in this case. So if you have 5x equals 1 and you are deciding to divide both sides by 5, or you've decided to divide both sides by 5, you now have x equals 1 over 5. And 1 over 5 is clearly not acceptable in mode 11. It has to be, your value for x has to be from 0 to 10 since it is in mode 11. So since you are now sure that 5 cannot divide 1, you have to pick out a multiple of 11 that you can add to 1 to make it divisible by 5. So the first multiple of 11 is 11 itself. The second multiple is 22. Of course, you know that the multiple of 11 are those numbers, or the multiples of 11 are those numbers that 11 can divide exactly without remainder. So I have 11. 11 in 11 can work. 11 in 22, yes. 11 in 22 is 2. 11 can divide 22 twice. So the next multiple is 33. The next one is 44, and so on. Just keep adding 11. The next one is 55. And you check the one you can add to 1 to make it divisible by 5. If I add 11 to 1, I get 12. Still 5 cannot divide that 12. If I add 22 to 1, I get 23. Still 5 cannot divide 23. If I add 33 to 1, I get 34. Still 5 cannot divide that 34. If I add 44 to 1, I get 45. Okay, I think this is the winner. If I add 44 to 1, I get 45. So let's add it now. Let's see. 5x equals 1 plus this 44. Then I'll now get 45. And finally, that 45 is a number that 5 can finally divide. So yeah, I now have 5x equals 45. And 44 works because if you add 44 to 1, you get 45. And 45 is a number that 5 can divide. So you can now finally divide both sides by 5. So 5 cancels 5. You now have x equals 9 in mode 11. So this is how you solve equations in a particular mode. So we'll still solve some more examples under equations involving mode under modular arithmetic.